Hello and welcome to Bad Dice Podcast. In this episode, I'm talking about just the things I've been up to in the hobby in the last couple of weeks, which surprisingly, seeing as I've been on holiday for a week, it's a fair amount. For a start, we've had our Alliance one-day event, and I want to talk about this one, a bit about that one on this episode. I've been doing a bit of painting. I've done some modelling as well. I've used the Shattered Dominion basing kits, which I talked about on, I think it was not last episode, the episode before. It's quite interesting actually. This episode's out tomorrow on the Age of Sigmar open day, so it's going to be released on that day. But I've actually pre-recorded my last two episodes, so it's almost 3 weeks ago when I last recorded, which seems really weird. Now, one thing I have started doing is Facebook live video, and I'm kind of really enjoying that at the moment. It's almost back to the days of when I was learning how to do podcasting. I'm just using my iPhone, not a lot else, and I've even got, I was looking for my selfie stick then, but my camera's mounted on it. I've got a bit of a tripod that I can use to hook the iPhone up, and a clip that lets me, there you go, lets me put the iPhone on a tripod to make things a little easier. And it's really cool. It's good learning how the software works to be able to do the live stream. I've noticed that the selfie camera on my iPhone has resulted in my t-shirt logo being switched backwards a few times. So it's living and learning and really enjoying the process, but it's been interesting to get some live feedback. I'm doing 2, 3, 5 minute videos once per day, just chatting about whatever's the hottest topic of the day. Like today, I think I talked about whether you should double stack abilities or not, because it's been what we've been chatting about in our WhatsApp group. If I see something cool on Twitter, I can cover that on the live stream. If someone asks me a question, I can instantly do a video on it, and you know, that's one of the cool things about live video. It's really quick feedback. People who are on at the time can ask me a question and I can address it straight away, and I'm really enjoying that interaction. It's almost like the Daily Show of old. For those that don't know, who are just into Age of Sigmar, I've never played previous editions, I used to do a daily podcast. You can actually still find all 500 episodes on iTunes. That was 5 days a week, 500 episodes, so it's, you know, 2 years worth of episodes. And it was pretty good. I really enjoyed doing it. I took a break when I had a baby, and decided I wasn't going to go back into it, because it was a big commitment to not just sit and record 10-15 minutes, but edit it, get it to a good level of blog posts to go with it, publish it. It was just too extreme. Whereas 5-10 minutes on Facebook, even if I do half an hour on Facebook Live, it's literally sit down with a camera in front of me, and that's it. Just that's the time. It's whatever I record for, and it's published. I don't have to then go back and make any changes, edit anything. I've also got to teach myself to do live better, you know, less ums, less ahs, less stopping and thinking about what I need to say and things like that. I've got to be more prepared, but that's also part of the fun and part of the learning experience, which I haven't had with the podcast for a while actually, because it's almost been on easy mode because I've been doing it so long. So I've got my set way of doing things, and that's the way I go with it. But now it's a lot more new stuff. It's making it a bit more exciting. I've got, you know, YouTube stuff going on. Everything's done through my video now, so I'm not even using my podcasting equipment to do this podcast. I'm using a video camera with a mic on the top of it. So anyway, that's enough about the behind the curtain. So what have I been up to? First things is Shattered Dominion. So there's your Shattered Dominion bases. These ones have actually been used. I think I've got some more lying around in here. So, you know, I've got the whole set. I've had these are the 25s and 32s. I've had the cav bases, and I've had the large detail kit. I haven't actually used this one yet, but these are really cool. The standard cav size bases, they actually work really well. They're a nice size to work with. Now on these ones, these are like the Dracoff size, just, you know, the larger oval. You also get some broken up basing. So if you had a unit of 5, you could do 3 of them on these, and then put these broken up pieces onto the standard bases to make a different sort of set. And then on your 32 mils, you get the 32 mils in the spruce. So if you want to go halves with a friend and he was playing any of the newer AOS armies, because I think all of them except Pestilence are on 32s. Everything else that's been released or had a battle tome is on. Everything's on 32 now, except I think that's right. The only battle tome released with 25s is Pestilence. So they're pretty cool. Now, what you'll notice about the 32mm bases, if the camera will focus on them, for those watching on YouTube, and for anyone listening on the podcast, you can get these on the show notes. You'll notice that the detail's quite good on these. There's a lot to work with. The 25mm are not quite so good because they're fairly small. It's limited what they can fit on there, and if they go too detailed, I think they find that they you can't put too much on because they look too busy. And then when you stand a model on there as well, I'm not sure the 25. I don't know. I've put some Blackguard. I've rebased some of my Dark Elves, put them on there. They do look good. I am happy with them. I've seen some reports of them not taking to dry brushing well, but I did. Just a couple of heavy dry brushes. I painted them on the sprue, so I didn't even spray them. I just used black paint, heavy brush, black paint, then dry brushed. I used Blood for the Blood God in the crevices, and that was it. I'm going to put some tufts on. I'm going to cover them in snow. So in between the snow, you're going to see the blood, you're going to see the cracked earth, things like that. I think that could be quite cool. So yeah, I do like them. I think they could be better. Shock Horror, Bad Dice, doing a not sterling review. Yeah, I think there's some better things they could do with them. But overall, I do like them and I'm happy with them. And I think if they did these, and I would pay for bases like this one. So this is Chateau the Executioner, and that's a resin base there. I think they could make something similar out of plastic with a bit more height, a lot more detail. And if you compare Chateau to one of the Shattered Dominion bases, and there'll be side-by-side photos on the show notes. If you compare the two of them, the Chateau the Executioner one is miles and miles better. I've seen a Kickstarter go up recently. A company are going to be doing plastic bases, and their plastic bases look more akin to the Chateau the Executioner ones than they do to the Shattered Dominion ones. Now, I like them. I'm going to do all my Dark Elves on them. I've done 2 units on these, and I've got 4 or 5 units on just my normal standard styling. And my future units, I'm going to mix. I'm going to put half the unit on these and half. So it's got some in there. Some will be broken up, so there'll be a mixture of them. So I won't have to spend the money on the whole range of Shattered Dominion bases. Although they do save a lot of time, they were very quick to do, which is nice. That definitely gets a thumbs up from me. So yeah, that's Shattered Dominion. So I've been painting modelling. I've been doing my Blackguard. There's also been Age of Sigmar event which I've run. The Alliance tournament, 1-day AOS event at Derby. We ended up with 54 players, which I thought was fantastic. It was a fantastic turnout. Everyone had a really good time. I didn't speak to anyone who went away and said it was rubbish. And I'd hope they would tell me if they didn't have a good time, because I'd want to know why and what I could improve for the future. But everyone seemed genuinely really happy about the event. They had a good time on the day. They had fun games. I wasn't called to any tables for rules questions. I was often called to the table and say, this book, this rule, I don't know. Oh, actually, it says exactly here what I need to do. Sorry, Ben, I haven't read the rules. That was I got a lot of that. But generally, no rules questions, no arguing at the tables, no real disagreements. Everything's crystal clear in the rules set. There's not many things at all that you can fall out on. So that was made it really easy to run. I remember one point in the day, everyone had gone out for dinner, and I was sat behind the TO's table, and it was just peace and quiet, looking at all the empty tables, and it looked really cool. So I had a very fun day. I'm definitely going to be running more in the future. Blood and Glory is coming up. It's the last weekend in November. Anyone who went to the Alliance event, I'm going to be putting the tickets up for sale for you guys in the next few days. After that, anything that's remaining, and there will be some, because Blood and Glory is going to be around 100 players, and there's only 50 at Alliance. So anyone remaining after that, it's going to go up to Snake Eyes members as well at the same time as the Alliance members. And then anyone remaining will get a chance to buy a ticket. And we're going to be running the championship, so it's 2 days, Saturday, Sunday, 6 games, general handbook rules. We're going to be running a 1-day event, 1,000 points, on 3 games on the Friday. Friday night, we're going to actually run a 500 point event, so it's another 3 500 point games, and then on Saturday night we're going to run the skirmish event, and we're going to use the same rules pack as Games Workshop have published for their upcoming skirmish event as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun, it's going to be a lot of Warhammer played, a lot of Age of Sigmar going on. Hopefully we'll see some amazing armies, because that was one of the things at Alliance that really stood out for me. Some of the armies there were fantastic. Amongst the best Age of Sigmar armies I've seen so far since Age of Sigmar have been with us, and also amongst the best Warhammer armies in general. There's some amazing conversions, some really nice themed forces, and there's just the sheer number of them as well. There's a hell of a lot of real nice armies. If I laid them all out like we do at some events where they just put them on the top tables, it would have been almost half the field that had been worth thinking about as being worth one of your votes. And you know, you can't ask anything more that from a tournament organiser for people to come to my event and bring those amazing armies to share with people at my event, and it was really cool to see. Okay, so we've had the Alliance tournament, I've been doing the Shattered Dominion bases, Facebook Live. Now the other thing is, the t-shirt I'm wearing, and I'll stand up so you can see it, it's the Grand Alliance t-shirt. I've got these t-shirts going on sale this weekend as well, so if you head over to the Grand Alliance community, you'll be able to see a link on there showing you how to get your hands on one. It's basically, for those listening on the podcast, it's a parody t-shirt of the Metallica Ride the Lightning album cover. So I thought, you know, I don't want to do a pure Games Workshop IP infringing t-shirt, but I want to almost a stealth geek shirt of you could wear it out and people wouldn't know what it is at first glance, and on the front it says the Grand Alliance in the Metallica style text. There's the lightning bolts going down, it says Ride the Lightning, and on the back it looks like a tour shirt where you can see all the battles in the Realmgate Wars so far, and hopefully you guys like it. They're going to be able to sell at £15 each on the Grand Alliance website. I've only got 100 to sell. I'm not going to say the limited edition because I don't think there will be, and down the line I might restock them, but there's no promises on that. At the moment I know I've got 100 and I want to sell them before I even think about putting another order in. So if you want to get one in your size, get yourselves in early and make sure you can grab a shirt, because there's been a lot of interest and I've got a feeling they're all going to go. I've already reserved a couple for myself, so you know, 98 already, and I sold some at the Alliance event as well, so demand's high. Okay, so I think the only thing I want to talk about before I get off is I want to put a question out to you guys. The Age of Sigmar app, right? I really like it, and it's got its faults. Again, there's some problems with it, you know, things like updating. When it updates you have to do your reset and things like that, but generally it is really cool. It's got a lot of very good features. One of the best things about it I've found is the lightning fast search function. So if you want to search for, say, like I did today, I want to search for Dryker, I typed D and almost straight away all the D's came up, R, all the R's came up, and literally Dryads and Dryker were, I think, the top two. I clicked on Dryker. Very, very fast search function, which makes it very easy to use. I've bought the General's Handbook book on the app itself. That's really cool, because what happens then is when you go to the My Battle section, you've got another section as well for profiles. You can click on that, and any of the units in your My Battle section, you can see the points values of those units. So that's really nice too. Also, as well as adding battle plans, allegiance abilities and things like that, you can add all them to your My Battle section. So if you're playing in a time of war, a certain time of war from one of the Realmgate books, you can add them. If you're playing in a certain battle plan from one of the books, you can add that as well. These are all premium upgrades like you'd expect in, you know, every app in 2016, so I don't have a problem with that at all. But if you buy the General's Handbook, you get access to these profiles. You can also add all the battle plans for your tournament games. You can also add your allegiance abilities and things like that. Now, what I want to do now is just talk a bit about what my wish list would be if I could make the perfect Age of Sigmar app. And also I'd like to hear what you guys want as well, because what I'm planning on doing is going to the guys who make this app with a massive long email of, this is what all my listeners think would be really cool to do with your app. It would be amazing if you could do it. And not only that, I'd love to pay for that as well, because that's what it's all about. Games Workshop for a business. So I thought it'd be cool to make some suggestions. So the first thing I'd like to be able to do a proper army builder. Now, I remember back in the day, I paid around £30 for Army Builder 2 on an actual CD to be posted out to me and used. And I was happy with that. I got so much use out of it. I'd like a full-on Army Builder where I can make lists, save lists. I'd like some up-to-date modern social media functionality with it where I can share to Twitter, Facebook, all the different social networks from the account. I'd like an export where I can send to email, send to print. I'd like it to be easy to export and have options of export formats. So I wouldn't want it laid out. I'd like to be able to customize the way it gets laid out when I export it. I'd like to be able to choose unit options. So if you've got a war scroll where they've got 2 or 3 different weapon options, I'd be able to choose in the app which weapon option you can, you know, like Dryker, back to the Dryker example. I'd like to be able to say I want the flutter furies. There you go. There's one for Rob. He said he had to say that on video, and there's me failing at it as well. Flutter furies or your other aspect. You'd like to choose which one you're going to be and write it on your list. I'd like options to include all my allegiance abilities on there. I'd like to be able to choose which type of game I'm playing. So if I'm playing a Vanguard or a War Host, I can click the War Host. That'll automatically lay out 1 to 6 leaders, 0 to 3 behemoths, 3+ battle lines, and then you can choose to select them. Or if you're playing a narrative, that's all gone. Or even if you're playing a campaign, you can choose your campaign rules, and there's some structure built into the app for that. For me, I think saving an army list is really important. The way My Battle does it at the moment is just, it's good, it does the job. It's not really suitable for tinkering with lists, let's say. So if you want to save a list, this is my Dark Elf list I'm working on, or whatever, this is my Legion list I'm working on. I can tweak it, I can duplicate it and make changes to the second one. That'd be a really cool feature to have. Also, some live collaboration. So if you've got a list of friends who've got the app, then being able to invite them to collaborate on a list, that'd be amazing. Google Docs style live collaboration with a revision history. Bearing in mind we're wishlisting here, this might be a future step down the road. I'm not expecting all of these features in one hit, but that'd be a really cool one to have. The other thing I'd like is if I've got an army list and I'm going to play, I've got all my army in front of me, I've got my list on my phone, I've got a camera on my phone. This is Shartor the Executioner. Take a photo. That's my version of Shartor the Executioner, which I can then save in the app. And I've got options to, when I print my army list, have a picture, my own picture of my own models on the printout. That'd be really cool. Also, when you do an export, I'd like it to look like White Dwarf have done it. You know, if it was a White Dwarf battle report and they've got a real fancy graphic designed army list layout, that'd be nice. That'd be really cool. Maybe some space you could put your own flavour text in and things like that. Just a fully functioned, really in-depth army building app, I think would be a fantastic thing. I'd love to see that. I'd love to use that. And I'd pay for it. I'd pay a fair amount for it. I'm, you know, all in on this hobby. I'm hoping there's another, I don't know, 5 years of Age of Sigmar in this edition, and then maybe rolling forward as well. Also, they could duplicate into 40k fairly easy once they built the feature set. So I imagine the way the community team's going at the moment and things like that, if enough people badger them and tell them they really want it and tell them to buy it, they're a business at the end of the day. They're going to listen to the customers. So let's get this petition started, making an awesome Age of Sigmar app and hammering on Games Workshop's door until we get one. The other option is we can try and find some Warhammer related games developer to build one and then just say, here you go, it's already built. Rebrand it as your own and off you trot, but I don't think that'll happen. Okay, well, I think that wraps up this episode. A bit of a scattershot one this time, all sorts to talk to. If you want to check out the coverage of the Alliance event, you can see on our YouTube channel. That's just youtube.com/Bad Dice Podcast. Or just go to baddice.co.uk/YouTube. That's probably easy to remember. Takes you straight to the YouTube channel. I've done a video of all the best armies at the event, and in the show notes to this episode, I'll put some of the army lists. There'll be a full rundown of the results, and you can find that over at the Grand Alliance community forums as well. Some coverage from the event, photos. Go onto Twitter and check out the hashtags from the event. It was Alliance and also TGA Community, and you can see what was posted throughout the weekend, and a lot of people tweeting from the event. Loads of photos, loads of talk from in the games. And you can catch up it's all still on there, even though it's Twitter and it is fairly fast flowing. If you listen to this in a year's time, you can soon look for that hashtag and scroll backwards and you'll soon find it. Okay guys, well thanks for listening and watching, and hopefully I'll see you at the Age of Sigmar Open Day. If not, I'll see you on next week's episode. Thanks a lot.